everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, with my amazing co-host, Phil. How you doing, Phil?
Doing good. How are you doing?
I mean, I'm doing okay. Tech issues has been annoying me a little bit today, but I am ready. I'm here to talk about The Amazing Race Season 33 with you, and look at your amazing background.
I know. Look at this amazing Corsica background here.
It's
This is pretty nice.
gorgeous. It makes me want
Oh,
to go away again.
I know. Oh,
I
when you see the water and the rocks and
Mhm.
so nice, so nice.
So, if it's your first time here, well, then welcome. Thank you for joining us. Please do us a favor and subscribe to the channel. Like this video, give it a thumbs up. We are just trying to build a community of people that enjoy watching and talking about reality TV. And today, The Amazing Race. So, like always, first up, we like to take a look at the survey that we had out for you guys to fill out so we can see what your thoughts of the last episode and leg.
Yeah.
So, do we have any responses?
We had a lot of responses, which
Oh,
was actually this might be one of our best response ones, which was interesting because I was like, it wasn't that exciting of an episode, but we got a lot of people that responded. We did actually have people who had been to Corsica. So that was nice that were listening in and did the survey. And then we've got some people that said that they had been to France, but they hadn't been to Corsica exactly, but they had been to a couple Mediterranean islands and that. So that was nice. Then we had which task from leg 6 do you think was the hardest? The say cheese, the making the cheese was the number one pick there for people. They thought that it was the say cheese one, which is interesting with two physical tasks that there was at least. Which team was in the right when the flight attendants overtook the twins after working together? The main answer was both teams had a point. So people thought they understood why Lala and Lulu were upset, but they thought Raquel and Kayla were in the right. Do you think Akbar owes Sherry an apology for how he talked to her? What are you gonna guess?
yes, 100% yes.
We had one no. But do you think that there should have been a yield or U-turn last leg? Most people said no. That was not what they wanted to see. Were you impressed by Aaron and Natalia? They got a yes for last leg. And then which team do we think Phil is most rooting for based on interactions at the pit stop? Overwhelming Kim and Penn, people think. So not a surprise.
Well, thank you for that, Phil. We do have some friends joining us here in the chat. So, Crossover Bunch Show asks us, who is going to win the Amazing Race? So, you have your number one draft pick still in the race. And I believe so do I. I think I did pick Kim and Penn first after you. So, who do you think? Do you think I'm going to take the W, or do you think you're going to win?
Well,
Or is it going to be somebody else?
I'm hoping it's somebody else, but still on my draft. I'm hoping it's Raquel and Kayla. I thought that they were good TV this week. Definitely, there was a lot of focus on them this week. But Ryan and Dusty, they're going to be hard to beat. So they're doing well.
They definitely are doing well, but I love that we've seen them not do that well. And so I think that gives a lot of motivation for Kim and Penn. They realize that they can't come first. All that needs to happen is Dusty and Ryan not be in the final leg for whatever reason, and it would be very easy for them to be able to win another leg, especially since they're a lot better with directions, it seems, at least here in France, than Raquel and Kayla. And so if they don't have people following them and they just go and do their own thing, I do think that Kim and Penn have a really good shot at winning this race. I do.
Yeah, I agree.
But all those three, we talked about them from like the reset, was that Dusty and Ryan, Kim and Penn, and Raquel and Kayla were the three teams that were the most likely to win the race. So I still feel the same way. Those are my top three still. Hello, Sophie. Thank you for joining us. Sophie would like to know about how my draft is doing. Well, since you ask, I only have 2 people left on my draft. So I have Kim and Penn, and I have Natalia and Arun. And then
Yeah.
Phil has Dusty and Ryan,
3.
Lulu and Lala, and Raquel and Kayla.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that I didn't
But
lose one. I just have
yeah.
everything like hanging on Kim and Penn's hat.
Yeah, you were able to get better odds because I had Akbar and Sherry as well, and so then they left. So you're still in it, you're still fighting, and I don't think Kim and Penn are a bad choice. I think that they definitely shown that they're a strong team.
So when we start off this leg, we see that they stayed intense, it seems, overnight. What did you think about staying intense? Are you a camper? Would you have enjoyed this? Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't. I don't mind camping. I've done it. Actually, when I did the Southern Ontario Amazing Race, we had to stay in tents. So that was nice. I don't go too hardcore into the woods camping, so it's more at a campsite sort of thing. But I don't mind it. I'd rather be in a trailer or something than a tent. I hate that feeling on my teeth in the morning when you wake up and you're like, ugh.
Well,
Camping.
because you're camping, you can't brush your teeth? Like, what do you mean?
No, but when you wake up in the morning, there's always like you feel it. Like I don't know, it's just because it's so hot during the night because the tent's so small. So it's like, oh, everyone's gross. It's gross.
Okay, like you start off being like, oh, I don't mind camping, and all of a sudden, oh, it's gross.
It's gross. It is gross, but I don't.
I don't mind it. I don't find it to be as gross as you did or do. I do remember one time I don't know, it was in the winter. We went like on a road trip and we went like camping in Quebec City and like we stayed outside and it was cold. And so I actually enjoyed it. I've camped actually a few times considering. I would prefer to glamp it up, but when I decide that I don't care about how I look or how I feel or if I'm covered in dirt or whatever, like that's when it's actually the most fun because I'm just like, I look like crap. Who cares? And then it's kind of fun.
That doesn't ever happen.
It does. It does. I'm just like, oh, this is what you get. This is me. This is me right now. So the first group is going to be leaving at 8 a.m. They're going to have to drive south for an hour and a half. So that is going to be Kim and Penn and Raquel and Kayla. And so they have to drive towards France's other famous cheese. And I'm like, is this a real thing? Like, is it a famous cheese? Because I've never heard of this. And I've been to Paris. You've been to France. So have you heard of this cheese? Have you tried this cheese?
Never tried it. Wouldn't go out of my way to. If I was on the race, no problem eating it. As I said last week, no problem. I'll do it. But I wouldn't be ordering it from the deli. That's for sure. I hope they wouldn't have it in the deli.
It might crawl over to you though, so you might have no choice. So they get to drive in these nice convertibles, which is kind of fun. I definitely liked hearing a little bit more about what was going on with Raquel and Kayla when they were, during the reset. They both had to move home and live with their moms, and so this race would be really great for them to be able to like look towards their future. So I liked hearing more about that. We do see Kim stop to get Kim and Penn stop to get directions. Penn speaks a little bit of French. He doesn't speak any French though, really. Like it's a great effort, absolutely. But like he literally didn't say anything in French.
No, not at all.
How's your French?
Probably not as good as it used to be. Yeah, I think it's a lot. I mean, I'm not great at sentences anymore. It's pretty much words. Yeah. I'm a bad Canadian.
Ooh. Okay. I didn't know that was going to be the answer. No, just kidding. No, I'm fine at French. I lived in Montreal for many years, so we would be fine with getting directions here. Especially since like I find that people in France are so much kinder to Canadian accents because in Montreal, they hated my Anglophone accent. But in France, like they prefer I prefer how Parisian French, or like French, France French speak French, as opposed to
Right.
Montreal Canadians speak French. Like, I prefer how they do it, and so like I would try to talk a little bit more like en français comme ça, et I parle from, you know what I mean? And so I sound like some cute little like Canadian girl trying to speak French.
Sure.
So it works for me. It works for me. I don't have any problems usually in France. Hi, Travel the World. Thank you for joining us.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Salut.
Comment ça va? Ça va très bien.
Comme ci, comme ça.
C'est bon comme ci, comme ça. Pourquoi?
So.
Je comprends le mot. Désolé. All right. So, Raquel and Kayla are fully following Kim and Penn here. And we're going to find out later that it's not as well received. And so maybe it is a little bit of a pattern, because now this is going to be a third time that it's very obvious that they are choosing to work with people and maybe having a different idea of what that means to be working a leg or whatever with somebody.
The whole race, I will give this to them. They have at least been honest when they're talking about it, that they're going to do what they're going to follow them. And then they're going to go past them when they can. Like they're being honest that they're being a little sneaky. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how they would react if another team did that to them. I don't know if they'd like that.
I don't think they'll be happy at all. Hi, Dolores. Dolores is living for your background, Phil.
Oh, yes. Much better than the donkeys, or sorry, the mules and the chestnuts.
True. It is much better. It takes me away on a dream. It's beautiful. Oh. It is beautiful. So 8:15 comes around, and Ryan, Dusty, Lulu and Lola, and Natalia and Arun are going to be leaving together. Ryan and Dusty just want to get out of there. They do not like being with the back of the pack. They're just like, no, this isn't my people. This isn't my crew. Like, I'm out of here. So they just like took off in a mad dash. They definitely exited in their convertibles first. And second was Lulu and Lala. And third getting out of there was Arun and Natalia.
And this episode, like I know before, like a couple episodes ago when everybody stayed, there was like a front pack and a backpack. But this one really, I don't know, because it was just the two times. It just really felt front, back. And it was like, whoa. And I can just imagine Ryan and Dusty, because that they haven't been in this situation at all. And it's like, right now you are last. And so they don't do well with last.
No, because they get frantic. And when they're frantic, they actually don't perform that well. So especially Dusty. Sorry, Dusty. You seem to be the loose cannon that like poor Ryan has to kind of manage a little bit, it seems. So
although he is better TV when they're in last. He's got more he seems to have more personality. Like he's a little boring, or at least we haven't seen too much from him when they're doing so well. So it's nice to see some energy.
That's true. That's true. A little bit of energy from him. So how did you feel about Kayla and Raquel seeing the turn, allowing Kim and Penn to continue to drive, and they end up getting to the site first?
Well, I mean, if it would happen to me, I would not be happy with them. They're doing this. They're being very clear, and they're going to get to that point where nobody's going to want to work with them because they do little things like this, because they're not necessarily things that they're not allowed to do. But sometimes when if a U-turn comes up, who are you going to go after? The teams that are doing nasty things to you, or things that are bothering you, or the teams that will work with you the whole way there? And they did follow them the whole way there, and it was just the parking. They could have at least honked the horn and went pointed there and turned in or something.
That's exactly what I wrote down. I put like, eek, they aren't making friends. And I'm like, they could have honked, right? Yeah. That's all they need to be like, honk, honk, okay, guys, and turn. And then they still would have to go up and find a place where they can turn around. So they still would have had the lead. Yeah. But to just disappear out of their rear, out of their line of sight, and then them have to assume that they found something that they, I don't know. It wasn't a good look
and
for
you
them.
knew it was the beginning as well, right? So like they weren't going to stay where they just went to go park. And what if you needed them again to follow them, like, which they did, but like it was a big chance that they got to be allowed to follow them. Like Kim and Penn might have tried to shake them off, or
And Kim and Penn especially wasn't happy about this decision. Hi, lovable Nikki. Yes, my lips are popping. It was the first lipstick I found. I was like, gotta get some lipstick on, and this is what we got. Mwah.
I didn't have time, Nikki. I'm sorry.
Well, you got nice background, so that's what you had time for.
That's what I had to focus on.
Yeah, so that's your pop color lipstick. Here's the blue waters. So by the time they did let Kim and Penn know that where they were for the where they were eating the maggots. So basically they had to kind of like run up this, rocky hill, or I don't even know what to describe it. They get to a man with a table, and he's cutting slabs of this maggot cheese, literally like open it up, and there's just maggots crawling in the cheese. Yeah. And then they slab it on a piece of bread and give them each a piece of bread. No water, no nothing. And the first comment is, it's so dry. Why is it so dry? It seems like it would be moist. No?
Well, I think they meant the bread was so dry. The bread was like apparently like really dry, a couple of them had said. So I was like, oh, but yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't know. It was that would have been an acquired taste, I think. I don't think that would be something you'd be looking forward to. You definitely
you were excited about it last week, so you changed your mind after watching.
Oh no, I'd still do it. But this wasn't a roadblock, Chantele. You gotta get in there.
I would do it, but it's just so repulsive. But I've just been thinking like, okay, I've eaten other repulsive things, or things that could be considered repulsive. Like I've had like fish eggs, like that could be considered gross. Or I've had like, is that the grossest thing I've probably had? And it's not even gross. Is there any other gross stuff? I've had like frog's legs, I think. I've had rabbit. Octopus is definitely not gross, but it's sad because they have they're so smart. I think the grossest thing would just be the idea of like flying fish roe.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like that's like the kind of the grossest thing. Fish eggs, it's kind of gross, but like I've eaten it. I eat sushi all the time. So anyways, the maggots, I would eat it, but like repulsive.
Yeah.
It's so gross. How about you guys in the chat? How did you guys feel about the maggot cheese? Were you like, would that be what ended your race, or would you be able to get it down? Has anyone had that cheese? I don't think I would have been able to eat it. Travel the world for $1 million. I would do a lot of things.
At least attempt it, right? I mean, but nobody threw up. Everybody seemed to do it all right.
Penn
was close. And that was almost Kim's fault because Kim kept like talking about it.
She was taunting him.
Oh.
Are you laughing at Kim's antics? Have you had a change of heart?
Oh, no. There was a point that they bothered me on it, but I will say that it was funny that whole point. I agree with Penn being so upset with the girls and be like when they're like, "Oh, it's over here," and he was like, "Oh, now you're helping us." Like,
well, I mean, I would probably have that kind of like rolling my eyes at like, okay, so you're not gonna tell us where the turn is, but you're gonna be like, once you're finished like doing a detour? Yeah, detour. Like you're not going to you're gonna tell us, oh yeah, it's up here, but you're not gonna like allow us to get there at the same time as you. So I would have been a little bit vexed.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure.
Travel the world. I'm with you. Bugs moving on the bread. Ew is correct. Like, I don't want to think about it too much because.
So this isn't going to be one of the appetizers at the Reality Realness like reunion party.
No. I mean, maybe I'll make like a fake one, so I'll make it something that looks like it. But like, I will not let you eat maggots. Don't worry. Oh, Penn was so close. Nikki says, would have had to eat it, but that was disgusting as it was.
Yeah.
Dolores says a fun fact. So Casu marzu is a Sardinian sheep's milk cheese that contains live insect larvae. I would have closed my eyes and swallowed it. Oh.
Good job, Dolores.
I mean,
I don't want to know anymore about what's in it. Like I would be like, just give it to me. Just let me eat it.
Yeah, I wouldn't look at it. I would just have eaten it. Absolutely. Yes, your background is always popping, Phil. But it did look amazingly gross. Yeah, it did not look appetizing. And I'm okay with cheese, but sometimes I can't. It grosses me out just in general because I don't generally eat animal dairy. So even that idea of cheese kind of can be gross and kind of smell stinky cheese. And then stinky mac and cheese, like I might have a problem, but I'd eat it, but I'd probably barf and swallow my barf. Like my barf would probably taste better. Like what? Bleh, 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 bleh.
Well,
All right, so
that's more disgusting than anything that any of them said, because I was surprised. I thought like somebody would, even in their confessionals, would make it sound more gross, but everybody was pretty tame. But you like just saying that you're going to throw up and swallow it, like that's more gross than anything that any of them said. I was kind of surprised.
Well, that's true. I probably would have, because like if I could barf just watching it on TV, imagine smelling it, seeing you eating it, seeing the cheese.
And you know what? I would have behaved. I would have totally behaved. I wouldn't have acted.
You know, you wouldn't have for TV. You'd have been like, bleh, bleh, bleh. And I'd be laughing, gagging, like crying, like eating, barfing, swallowing. It's so gross. Child of the World says, I'm sure that they had to edit the segment. Yeah, maybe people were barfing more, and they didn't want it to be insulting for the community. So maybe that's why they took out some people maybe being like, this is disgusting, since it is something that they do eat there. So maybe they're trying to be considerate of the culture. That was a pun. The culture. So they have a detour after they finish it. So it's between row, row, row your boat or gently down the stream. So for row, row, row your boat, they basically have to go out in a kayak and pick up 10 fish. Not real fish, but like metal fish, it seemed. Or gently down the stream, they go in, it's kind of like a little bit of a submarine type boat where they were looking underwater for different colored fish. There's 10 different colored fish, and then they go and find that fish after on a slab of cards that has different colored fish on it. So which one would you have choose, or would we have chosen?
I don't know. I don't know which one we would have chosen, because I think we would have liked the idea of a memory thing, but we probably would have talked about, like how long is it going to take to go through the ferry. You just did a kayak the leg before, so if you were comfortable on that, I think you might be able to do that quite fast, and it is sort of in your hands, not based on a schedule of the boat going around. I think I'm not an athletic person, you know this, but I think we might have said go with the kayak, because it did seem like a smarter timing wise thing to do.
Well, yeah, I think what we would have probably done was, since we learned that it takes 15-minute trips for the submarine, I would look to see where it was. If it was right there, we can get on right away, I would say we do that one. But if it was anywhere not near or on its way back to the dock within the next 2 minutes, like I would probably be like, okay, let's just do what we can start doing right away, as opposed to waiting, getting on, going out, memorizing, coming back, maybe wrong, and having to do that again. So I think that
they weren't locked in. Like they could switch, I'm sure. Well, they did. One of the teams did switch when driving there. The girls switched, but because they were in the same spot, you want to look at things like, how are the waves? Are the waves like crazy? Is this something that we're going to be able to do? What does the boat look like? And those kinds of things that you have to think about. Or what does the kayak look like, right? So yeah.
Exactly. So we do see, as you just mentioned, that Raquel and Kayla do to switch detours in order to stay in in sync with Kim and Penn. So they finish the detour first, and then they get into their car and they seem to be taking off, and then they do decide to wait for Kim and Penn. Now, do you think that was because they're worried about directions? Do you think that they were feeling bad about the fact that they just ditched them the last round?
Definitely not feeling bad about what they did. I don't think that was it. I think they wanted to stay near the top, and I think they wanted to keep an eye on the other team that was at the top, and they wanted to work with them and make sure that they didn't get lost. They stayed stuck with that team. So, and I think they know Kim and Penn are good at directions, so they wanted to. It's probably more likely that they would be able to find where they're going than get lost. So I think it was a smart call on their part in that sense. But if I was Kim and Penn after the shenanigans of the parking lot, I don't think I'd be all that excited about them working together. So good on Kim and Penn for not holding
bygones be bygones. Well, he does say like, oh, okay, I love them again. And so I think that was because they're friends, and then they kind of stabbed in the back a little bit, and then they were kind of nice, and then okay, they're actually officially, they waited for us, so we can forgive them here. But they probably have their eyes on them. Like, they'll be very particular about what they decide to share moving forward, I think.
Yeah. Oh, if they had made another move, I don't think that would have went well.
No. So they both decide to do Gently Down the Stream. So they had a pretty good system. Kim says that Penn has a really great memory. And so basically, 2 people were on one side of the boat and 2 people were on the other side. And they were just basically memorizing the entire color order, making it recognizable. So they're like, okay, France flag, rainbow, Japan flag. And so they were kind of doing things that were very recognizable, and that they were saying it out loud so that everybody would have an idea as to what the order was. So I thought that they did a good job with how they handled their first trip.
Yeah, I thought it was smart. I mean, obviously, that's what you got to do. You got to find, how are you going to remember these things? And the more that you can remember as a group and actually remember without getting all confused, the better, because then you can help each other through it. But yeah, the 10 is an interesting number when you've got 4 people in there, 10 fish to find, right? So you got, who are the ones that have to remember the last 2? Or
everybody memorizes the last 2. So they came back to the shore, and they were able to remember all the fish in their, it seems like it was their first try. We didn't see anybody that had to go back out. So I was pretty impressed by them that they got it on their first go at it. So Ryan and Dusty, they get to the detour first, and they run up the hill, and they're able to get to the roadblock first, and they are able to get to the maggot cheese quite quickly before Natalia and Arun, it seems, were able to figure out how to open the trunk of their car.
Yeah.
So they were finished eating the maggots on bread before Lulu and Lala even made it to the top where to get their maggots and bread. And they were off. Like, they're fast.
Yeah. Well, and one thing that they sort of showed on like one or 2 clips, when they showed the parking lot distance from the parking lot to where they had to go, that actually seemed like quite a trek. Like, yeah,
it's uphill, kind of rocky.
Yeah. So I'm not surprised that there was a bit of time difference between the teams, because some teams are faster on foot.
For sure. So the boys, though, decide to do row your boat, and so no surprise by that. They tend to want to do the physical detours or the physical challenges. So they did row your boat. Finally, the twins and Aru finish the, I guess it is a roadblock, right? The first one, or is it nothing?
No, the first one's not a roadblock. The first one's just everybody has to do it.
Route info.
Yeah.
I keep on saying the wrong thing, and I was like, but it's not a roadblock, it's not a detour, but I guess just route info and head to.
Info. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Just a task.
So they do finally get that done, and they decide to work together. So the twins with Arun and Natalia, and they decide to do Gently Down the Stream together. So they're doing the underwater task, and the boys are doing the kayak task, which is what I expected.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't seem to have any urgency, in my opinion, with how that they were organizing, memorizing those fish. Like they had no plan of attack. Um, there's no hustle, like getting on and off the boat. And so they do go down. They make an attempt to memorize them. They come back up, and then both teams got the order wrong. And then they decide, like, oh, okay, well, I'll memorize two, and we all memorize the last two. And I was like, why didn't you guys think of that in the beginning?
While you were waiting for the boat.
While you're waiting for the boat. Yeah, the boat wasn't even there.
Yeah, like, why didn't you talk about how you were going to approach this? Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't a very smart idea. They didn't have a plan.
Don't have a plan. And so I was assuming that because there's so few teams left that this wasn't going to be an elimination leg. So right. I assumed that someone was going to stay. So I wasn't nervous really for anybody, which kind of sucks because like I do like being like, oh my God, like who's going to be eliminated. I don't really enjoy the non-elimination legs unless my favorite team is being saved. But, you know, people have been saved quite a few times now.
Yeah, and it's, I don't know, I think it's more noticeable this season. But,
true.
Yeah.
So poor Dusty and Ryan, though, their boat is filling up with water. It actually even they had to kind of capsize it so they can dump it back over so they can get out some of the water so they can finish the task. So that would suck if that happened to us. But apparently when Dusty was like rowing, he was like dumping water into the boat.
Yeah, they needed to communicate as well a plan of how they were going to go through the boat. Because that was going to be heavy. Anything we've seen that in Amazing Race Canada with the fake lobster traps, like pulling stuff out of the water is really physical to do. So it's interesting to see how, I don't know, he was paddling and while the other one's leaning over and the boat's getting all filled up. I got concerned for them when the boat tipped because they were out in the middle of nowhere, and that's kind of scary. So,
well, they had
I'm sure they were safe.
So that's okay.
They were safe, but it's like, ooh, that's not at the beach area. So how are you gonna? You gotta like swim and then get back into the boats, and because you're not going to be able to get in right away.
I do remember though one time. So me and my friend Sandra, we were I think we're at a cottage, and I think it was around Georgian Bay, and we're just like, we're out on the Sea-Doos and we're like going around whatever, and like a boat passed, and obviously like sometimes when the boat passes you have all like the backstream, and so we were kind of going over them and it was fun, but we hit one the wrong way and we kind of like ended up like
slipping,
turning over, and it's just like me, like I'm like 21 years old and like we're both young and like we're like we do have life jackets on, but we're like trying to flip over this damn Sea-Doo. It was so heavy. We did manage to get it and get back on and like get back to the cottage, but like it's definitely challenging to flip things over when you're in the water. And it's not helpful. That's like, it is helpful that you have a life jacket so you're not worried about drowning, but it's still difficult to like get any sort of leverage if you don't have like a ground to stand on. So I do understand how it might have been challenging for them. Poor guys.
But they didn't give up. Good for them. They
did not give up. While all this is happening, though, we do see that Kayla and Raquel do get to the roadblock first. So who's feeling knotted up between me and you? Me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd probably do it.
With word knot, I'd be like, I'm good. I'm good with you doing this one. I know some knots, but I'm not the best.
Well, it didn't seem like the knots were that challenging. It seemed like just regular slip knot, not a slip knot, like just a regular like a starter knot. And I couldn't really see what they were doing, but it didn't seem that hard. It just seemed like they were saying around and through. which is just like loops. So
I do think it probably was easier than we probably, but from opening the clue and seeing the who's feeling knotted up, I think I'd be like, no, you're doing this because it's like I just feel like you're going to be more comfortable with that. So
yeah, easy peasy. My grandmother taught me how to knit when I was young, so I kind of know how to knit too. So I think I'd be fine. Pretty easy for this one though. So Penn, he rises to the Roadblock second. He's going to be doing this one, and as well as Kayla. So they're going to be fixing holes that are in a fisherman's net. So he activated his nerd glasses. Is this where you fell off the Penn and Kim train?
Well, I didn't even really remember. I think I blocked out the part where he put the glasses on. But when he finishes the task and does that dance, and he's like acting all goofy, I'm just like, I can't. I just don't. I can't. I don't get you. Like,
I think it's because you see yourself in him, and you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed by what he represents because he represents you.
Yeah, that's it, right? I'm jealous.
You are jealous. He says the memory one was faster if you actually remember the fish order. Absolutely. Had Lulu and Lala and Aruna and Natalia actually had a good strategy, they would have left.
Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely. Even with them waiting for the boat to come, it definitely was faster. So I think that the show was expecting people to take 2 trips to do the fish. That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
So their oars were floating away. I didn't think that they would catch up. I mean, they are physically strong. So if their oars are floating away, they can swim and catch it as soon as they flip it over. I wasn't that worried for them.
No, but it was a really neat shot when they did them in the water and then they panned out, right? And like to go to commercial, and like you can see his hand in the bottom of the boat underneath the boat, and you're like the oars are like floating away. You're like, oh my god, this is like one of those like not like a shipwreck sort of like movie, sort of like what? Oh no, there's
no. Yeah, it was very dramatic. They definitely made it seem like something worse was going to happen, even though we know that they're safe. Travel the world, says the nerd glasses. I didn't even notice the dance. It's so funny because like they bother you. Like you're probably noticing all like their irritating things, but
yeah,
I didn't notice the dance. I don't even remember it. So Dustin and Ryan,
really a dance. It was like a running on the spot, but your legs are like going forward, and it just kept going for like he just kept like I was like, okay, turn it off.
The nerd glasses were activated. I don't think you can turn it off. So Ryan and Dusty do finally get back into the boat. They get it right. Well, I mean, they just had to get all 10 fish. So they got all 10 fish. And Lulu and Lala and Aruna and Natalia were out on their second try because they didn't get it right the first time. I was just so irritated that they didn't get it right the first time, because not that we know that it's a non-elimination leg, but it would have been nice if Dusty and Ryan came in last. Like, imagine how big of a motivation boost it would have been for all teams to see that they were saved by a non-elimination leg, you know? Yeah. That would have been very, very good for their morale. Anyways. So Penn, yes, finally finished. He had his little dance that you are not happy about. And then they have to go to Bonifacio Cliffs, where the pit stop is, and look for Napoleon for some help. So this is a foot race, and they're running like around it to find the pharmacy. They're getting directions, go up these hills. Like, it looked exhausting. How would you have been doing for this?
I'm sure it was exhausting. It looked tiring. Like almost all the teams that went to the mat, they looked exhausted running up there. And you know, like a couple legs ago, they had to run up the hill and do the one task. Like, I mean, Europe is lots of hills, lots of cliffs, and that all over the place. So it's a lot of walking and yeah, I think it would have been tough. Would have been
Yeah.
tough.
It would have been tough for sure. Not fun. Especially when you don't really know where you're going and like it seems like maybe there's only one path and like you're asking people and they're saying just like straight, then go left pharmacy and up and look for Napoleon. Like, and you see Napoleon's up there. I'm like, oh my God, it's to go all the way around and up that hill. Like it looked exhausting. And with your backpack, whoo, not fun. So they tried to make it seem like there was an actual foot race going on between Kim and Penn and the flight attendants, but Kim and Penn came in first.
Yeah.
They made it seem like Kayla and Raquel may be able to overtake them, but it did not happen. Kim and Penn are first place again, and they win a trip to Turkey. Have you been to Turkey?
I have not, but it is. I mean, right now, I don't know. The last times I've heard about Turkey, it's not. I don't know if it's the best place to go right now, but I would love to go. I mean, it looks beautiful. So lots of scenery. I mean, I think it's the only country that's Europe and Asia. But yeah, so it would be very nice to go. It was nice to see Kim and Penn. They did very well. That like again, there. It's nice to see another team, not just the guys, doing well. The girls, they know what they're doing with the whole use people to help you get places, but now they need to know, okay, now how do we get in front of them? How do we push past them? And Dolores, yeah, that's true, but that's no excuse because they're not on YouTube right now.
Well, maybe clips. Maybe they want to become a meme or a GIF. These clips will be put up on YouTube. So maybe, Dolores, I agree with you. I remember that they are YouTubers and they are used to doing funny, quirky dances.
If that clip becomes a GIF, it's gonna be about somebody looking silly, and they're making fun of people. Like it's gonna be like, woo.
Can somebody make a GIF of Phil doing that for me, please? Actually, like that would really make my day. So second up is Kayla and Raquel. Kim and Penn are congratulating them, saying awesome job. And then we see Lulu and Lala. We see all the bottom three teams at the roadblock, and Lulu and Lala were last to get there, which I thought was interesting that Arun and Natalia were able to beat them to the roadblock. That was surprising. I'm not sure which twin did it.
Getting somewhere without
before
direction.
Somebody else. Shocker. So Dusty and Ryan, or it was Ryan that did this roadblock. He finishes pretty quickly, it seems. I can't tell time. Then Lulu and Lala finish. Lulu and Lala finished first. Did she? Wait, I can't remember now. I didn't write it down.
No. Ryan
I remember
Dusty
surprised that
Ryan
Lulu and Lala finished quickly, but I think it was just before Arun and Natalia.
Yeah, because Ryan and Dusty finished, and then Lala and Lulu showed up while they finished, and they gave them a little bit of advice.
Right. Yeah,
a little bit of advice, which was also a little bit of go slow.
Yeah, take your time. Do it really slowly so we can make sure that we're way ahead of you. Like, I noticed that too. So they get to the mat. I don't even remember seeing them get to the mat, but they do the run up the mountain as well. And then it's kind of a foot race between Lulu and Lala and Arun and Natalia. The twins did leave the roadblock before Natalia was able to finish the net. But then she does finish, and then everybody's running, and no surprise, Arun and Natalia are last at the mat. Mm-hmm. But it's a non-elimination leg. So they're still in it for another time around. So that was a pretty speedy episode, but maybe it's because there's so few teams in there, so we don't have a lot of teams to talk about.
Yeah, there wasn't really, I felt it wasn't really an episode of too much substance or drama, but I mean, it was nice to see and it was some nice locations to see, but definitely it wasn't, I don't know. I think we all knew that it was probably going to be a non-elimination leg, so there wasn't really that much excitement about it. And this was the first leg where I kind of did not enjoy the 2 teams leaving at the same time and then 3 teams leaving at the same time because of the clumping of the follow. Like at least at the when they have a plane at the airport, that I know they bunch, but then they have to run out to the cars and go, and they're not all going to just be clumped together. So
exactly together and easily able to work
yeah,
together.
yeah. So
100%.
I kind of felt that. I did find it weird. I sorry I didn't talk about it earlier, but I did find it weird that they really put Ryan making comments about that the cheese was something like he had ate in prison. And I was like, I don't think that they're feeding them maggots and cheese.
Well, isn't this like gourmet?
Yeah. Like I
uh,
don't know, but like I hope that they're not. That is like I mean I know they're in jail, but that's a bit of an issue. I think if they're giving them maggot cheese.
I mean, we've seen movies where they don't treat people very
That's
well. So
true. That's
if
true.
anything, it could be true, maybe.
I don't know. I
But
just felt like it was a soundbite to just go, remember my story.
yes, it was a
Yes.
soundbite for that. I didn't. I think I remember it, but I didn't clock it at the time.
Yeah.
So Travel World says, I want to go to Turkey and go to one of those spas with the Turkish bash and bubbles. They look relaxing. What is a hammam? Is that what they're called?
I don't know.
I would love to do that too as well, travel the world. It's not on my immediate list, but like if anybody wants to go to Turkey, I will go. I like going anywhere. They definitely have 9 lives. Yes, Arun and Natalia have 9 lives. And I don't think one of those lives are going to win the race. I'm sorry, I don't think so. But we do have another survey for this week. So unless there's anything else that you would like to talk about the episode, let's get to the survey.
All right. Well, obviously, we're now in a different area of Corsica. So if you have gone to any of those locations, let us know. That's the first part. Chantele, what task do you think from this leg was the hardest? Was it the eating the bread and maggot cheese? Was it the kayak and retrieve 10 metal fish from the water? The fish search and memory challenge, or repairing the holes in the fishing net?
These are all this is a really easy race for $1 million. Like all these tasks, none of them have been like, whoa, that's hard. That's hard. I guess because when seeing Ryan and Dusty, who are pretty good at a lot of things, having so much trouble with the kayak and getting the fish, I would say that might be the hardest one. And we didn't see any other teams attempted, so it must have been more challenging.
Do you think Aaron and Natalia would deserve to win the whole game based on their performance in the race so far?
If they are able to beat out those 4 teams, then I would say that they deserve to win the race. And you know that we need a little bit of luck on our side with any of these competitive reality shows, and they've had a lot of luck on their side, and it's part of a race mechanic. So they were able to be awarded to stay in the game. And so if they were able to get to the end and win that final leg, I think that they 100% deserve it.
Yeah, I've always been under the whoever wins deserve to win. They found a way to win. Will I love that they won? Probably not. But if they do get there, deserve, the word deserve, I would say yeah. Do you think that there should be? Oh, sorry. There should be a U-turn this upcoming leg.
In next episode or this episode?
Yeah, this upcoming one.
Well, if there's a U-turn, are they going to send someone home, or is it going to be another non-elim?
Ooh.
I bet you it's another non-elim, eh?
It could be. Oh my god, it could be. What if it is? Ugh.
I think it's going to be another non-elim, and then I think we'll be on track for 10 episodes, because that would be what, episode 8, and then the next one get rid of 1, or maybe not actually.
No, because I think they said there's 10
episodes.
episodes. So it might be going forward now. It might be eliminations. Might be. I don't know. Yeah.
So what, two people go home or one person goes home and then next person goes home and then final three? Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe. So
Um,
U-turn, I would be pissed if there was a U-turn and like it just so happens that I don't know,
a strong team. Yeah.
a strong team gets U-turned and goes
Yeah.
out of the race when Arun and Natalia have had so many second chances. Um, I'd be annoyed.
Okay.
I think they missed their chance for a U-turn this
Will
game.
Raquel and Kayla get a first place finish at any pit stop along the race?
I don't think so.
You don't think they're going to
It
get
doesn't
one?
seem like they're confident in being out in front. In the last few legs, especially, it seems that they're always willing to wait, willing to go against their initial instincts on what tasks that they want to do to be able to work with somebody else. And so I don't see them being able to overtake anybody right now because it doesn't seem that they're confident in their decision making and being able to hold their own. So at this point, I think that they're great at being second. I don't know if they know how to be the leader and in front.
Okay. Will Aaron and Natalia survive the next elimination?
I don't think so.
It's their time, you think? Yeah.
I mean, I can't see anybody doing worse than maybe Lulu and Lala. Actually, they kind of go up and down. So maybe Lulu and Lala. I would say they have like a 30% chance of staying in the race.
All right, your last question. Which Amazing Race team do you feel your opinion has changed the most about from the beginning of the race to now in a more positive way now?
Well, I was gonna say Raquel and Kayla, but I felt that since the blip, they definitely have really improved and really impressed me. But I was kind of impressed by them from the beginning. So like
Yeah.
I was always like, wow, I from before the race, they really have impressed me. If I'm just looking at the race specifically, I think maybe Lulu and Lala ish. For the fact that I mean this last two legs they haven't been as great, but I do think they were most improved right now. So yeah, I'll say Lulu and Lala have done the best improvement looking from the beginning of the race till now.
Wonderful. Well, that's all the questions.
That's it. That's all she wrote.
So we want to hear from everybody else. Let us know what you think.
Yes, please. So Aiden wants to know which team has better luck on their side, Kaylin and Haley from 32 or Arun and Natalia? I think Arun and Natalia because they were literally eliminated from the race and
Yeah,
had
and
the
they got to
opportunity to
come
come back. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, have had two non-elimination legs. So I think that's
Yes,
pretty
I
lucky.
agree with that. Yes, I agree with that.
That's pretty lucky. Well, this is fun as always, Phil. Thank you for being here. Oh, do you have something going on that you want to share with the people? Well, you have
Nothing
a
too
tag. You have a
huge.
tagged coming up.
We have a tag coming up, and actually, I've heard that there's some podcasters that will be playing in it. So you might want to come and check that out. You can play with fellow podcasters, maybe, or if you're a fan of anybody. So yeah, definitely come play Tagged, which is one night sort of social strategy elimination game. It's like sort of being on a reality show from your home on your computer. So go to Good Time Games with Adam and Phil on Facebook, and you'll see some information about the tagged game coming up on February 26th, Saturday, February 26th. So yeah, definitely. And open to anybody that wants to play. And we're looking for a good group of people.
And I've mentioned before, I have played, and it was a fun time until I got taken out by a wheel. The wheel doesn't always happen, but that wheel was not my friend this day, and it took me out. But it was definitely a really good time up until that point, and I think I was on a winning trajectory. So you can do it. You can come in, play.
That's right.
You know, if you'll meet some new friends. It's definitely a really fun evening, and our hosts. of Tag are the best. They are super fun and great.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
would be lovely. Ooh, so any Survivor 42 coverage coming up. What are you thinking, Phil? How are you feeling about Survivor 42? Did you see the cast that dropped?
I saw that the cast has been out there. I have not gone deep dig on it yet. But yeah, you've got to. You did it last season, so I think you have to do it again this season. I mean, I think people expect it.
Okay,
it won't
so
be Survivor Australia. I can already tell you that. I'm really enjoying Survivor Australia, and I'm enjoying Celebrity Big Brother. Ridiculous.
Wow.
I said I wasn't even going to watch it, and now I'm like hooked.
Next, you know what? You're going to be subscribed to Kim and Penn's channel and be their
No.
one fan. You're going to be making YouTube videos with them. You're going to be like... So Adrian, I'll talk to everyone else. So Jojo, Jonathan, and Ron to see if there's a time if we could do maybe a cast assessment and another draft. So I would say maybe next week sometime we can look forward to maybe doing something there. We'll see what everybody's schedule looks like. So yes, there will be some coming up. We do have about a month until Survivor 42 starts. So we'd have a little while before we really need to, get that cast assessment in. So I might even consider waiting until after Celebrity Big Brother, just because there's so much coverage still going on for that. So within the next 2 weeks, I'll say for sure, we will do a cast assessment and draft picks.
Like you don't have enough going on.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit busy right now. A little busy. But it's okay. Busy's okay. I don't have another job, so this is what I got to do right now. So thank you so much, Phil, for being here. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for all your comments and your questions and, hanging out and chilling with us. We do appreciate you. And like I already said, please subscribe to the channel, follow us on all socials. We're just trying to build a community of reality TV lovers. And that's it for today. What are coming up next? Saturday. Sorry, I do want to mention this. Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern on the Angel Cake Entertainment channel. We will be doing round 2 of the unpopular The Challenge opinions. And we'll be going toe-to-toe, head-to-head, where we'll be defending the most deplorable challengers or the most overrated challengers. And, it was pretty fun last weekend. So come and take a look at who I'm going to have to swallow my pride and say a lot of good things about. So it's fun time. And then Sunday, back again with Ron at 5 p.m. Eastern. Well, we will be catching up on the last 3 episodes of Australian Survivor. That's all we got for you today. We'll see ya next week. Bye. Ciao.